Exodus 39. The priestly clothes are made, making the priestly clothes. Beautiful priestly clothes were made of blue, purple, and red wool for Aaron to wear when he performed his duties in the holy place. This was done exactly as the Lord has commanded Moses. The entire priestly Aaron was made of fine linen, woven with blue, purple, and red wool. These sheets of gold were hammered out and cut into thread that was skillfully woven into the apron. It had two shoulder straps to support it and a sash that fastened around the waist. Onyx stones were placed in gold settings, and each one was engraved with the name of one of Israel's sons. Then these were attached to the shoulder straps of the apron. So the Lord would never forget these people. Everything was done exactly as the Lord has commanded Moses. The breast piece. The breast piece was made with the same materials and designed as the priestly apron. It was 22 centimeters square and folded double with 4 rows of 3 precious stones. Carnelian, cellulite, and an emerald were in the first row, the turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond were in the second row, and jacinth, and agate, and amethyst were in the third row, and the beryl and onyx and the jasper were in the fourth row. They were mounted in a delicate gold setting. On each of them was engraved the name of one of the 12 tribes of Israel. 2 gold rings were attached to the upper front corners of the breastpiece and fastened with 2 braided gold chains to gold settings on the shoulder straps. 2 other gold rings were attached to the lower inside corners next to the apron, and 2 more near the bottom of the shoulder straps just above the sash. To keep the breast piece in place, a blue cord was used to tie the 2 lower rings on the breast piece to those on the apron. These things were done exactly as the Lord has commanded Moses. The clothes for priest. The priest's robe was made of blue wool with an opening in the center for the head. The material around the collar was bound so as to keep it from flaying. Along the hem of the robe was woven pomegranates of blue, purple, and red wool with a bar of pure gold between each of them. This robe was to be worn by Aaron when he performed his duties. Everything that Aaron and his sons was made of fine linen woven with blue, purple, and red wool, including their robes and turbans, their fine caps and underwear, and even their sashes that were embroidered with needlework. Dedicated to the Lord was engraved on a narrow strip of pure gold, which was fastened to Aaron's turban. These things were done exactly as the Lord has commanded Moses. The work is completed. So the people of Israel finished making everything that the Lord had told Moses to make. Then they brought it all to Moses, the sacred tent and its equipment, including the hooks, the framework, and crossbars, and edge posts and stands, the covering of tanned ram skins and fine leather, the inside curtain, the sacred chest with its carrying poles, and the place of mercy, the table with all that goes on it, including the sacred bread, the lampstands of pure gold, together with its equipment and oil, the gold-covered incense altar, the ordination oil and the sweet-smelling incense, the curtain for the entrance to the tent, the bronze altar for sacrifices with its bronze grating, its carrying poles, and its equipment, the large bronze bowl with its stand, the curtain with its post and cord, and its pegs and stand that go around the courtyard. Everything needed for the sacred tent, and the finely woven priestly clothes for Aaron and his sons. When Moses saw that the people had done everything exactly as the Lord had commanded, he gave them his blessing. The sacred tent is set up. The Lord said to Moses, "Set up my tent on the first day of the year, and put the chest with the 10 commandments behind the inside curtain of the tent. Bring in the table and set on it those things that are made for it. Also bring in the lampstand and attach the lamps to it. Place the gold altar of increase in front of the sacred chest and hang a curtain at the entrance to the tent. Set the altar for burning sacrifices in front of the entrance to my tent. Put the large bronze bowl between the tent and the altar and fill the bowl with water. Surround the tent and the altar with the wall of curtains and hang the curtain that is made for the entrance. Use the sacred oil to dedicate the tent and everything in it to me. Do the same thing with the altar for offering sacrifice and its equipment, and with the bowl and its stand. Bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent, and make them wash themselves. Dress Aaron in a priestly clothes. Then use the sacred oil to ordain him and dedicate him to me as my priest. Put the priestly robe on Aaron's son and ordain them in the same way, so they and their descendants will always be my priest. Moses followed Lord's instructions, and on the first day of the first month of the second year, the sacred tent was set up. The posts, stands, and framework were put in place. Then the 2 layers of coverings were hung over them. The stones with the 10 commandments written on them were stored in the sacred chest, the place of mercy, was put on top of it, and the carrying poles were attached. The chest was brought into the tent and set behind the curtain in the most holy place. These things were done exactly as the Lord has commanded Moses. The table for the sacred bread was put along the north wall of the holy place. After which the bread was set on the table, the lampstand was put along the south wall. Then the lamp were attached to it there in the presence of the Lord. The gold incense altar was set up in front of the curtain, and sweet-smelling incense was burned on it. These things were done exactly as the Lord had commanded Moses. The curtain was hung at the entrance to the sacred tent. Then the altar for offering sacrifices was put in front of the tent, and animal sacrifices and gifts of grain were offered there. The large bronze bowl was placed between the altar and entrance to the tent. It was filled with water. Then Moses and Aaron, together with Aaron's son, washed their hands and feet. In fact, they washed each time before entering the tent or offering sacrifices at the altar. These things were done exactly as the Lord had commanded Moses. Finally, Moses had the curtain hung around the courtyard. The glory of the Lord. Suddenly the sacred tent was covered by a thick cloud and filled with the glory of the Lord. And so Moses couldn't enter the tent. Whenever the crowd moved from the tent, the people would break camp and follow. Then they would set up the camp and stay there until they moved again. No matter where the people traveled, the Lord was with them. Each day a cloud was over the tent, and each night a fire could be seen in the cloud.